Hello everybody, my name is William. Welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Today we're going to be doing another flight in the Cessna 208 Grand Caravan. We're back here in Papua New Guinea, exploring a little bit more. We're going to make our way inland. We'll be departing back from Wewak, going to Tabubil, about just under 200 miles on the flight. I'm going inland, flying over some of the big mountain ranges and dropping into Tabubil for the flight today. So I hope you all enjoy. Let's go ahead and get into it. Alright everyone, welcome on board the Cessna 208. Good morning here from Wewak. We will be departing, like I said, on our way to Tabubil. So we'll go through and get the aircraft ready for departure. Make sure all of that is nice and set. We'll go ahead and get the battery on, avionics on, get our beacon turned on. Set our transponder to VFR. Good to go on that. Alright, so we got our ignition set to norm, fuel boost norm. Everything else looks like it is good to go. Let's press the starter.
TOS system test. Okay.
The prop is spinning, oil pressure's climbing, prop RPM coming up. Oil pressure's out of the red. We'll put the conditioner lever into low idle. Oil pressure's now in the green. NG is on the rise. ITT is climbing on up. There it goes. Kicks over. Get the starter off. And everything looks like it is good and normal there. I'm going to go through, program the aircraft to work our way through to Tabubil. That is fun to say. Probably mispronouncing it, but still fun to say. And then we will be ready to start our flight in FSEconomy and make our way out of here. A bit of a longer flight today, so there'll be some time just in cruise, taking in the sights, but I hope you all enjoy either way. Alright, we have our aircraft pretty well set up. Let's go ahead and pull up the FSEconomy client. We'll go to Flight Actions and Start Flight. Everything is underway. We're just carrying some passengers, medical workers, and a mechanic off to Tabubil. We'll go ahead and hide that. Don't need it in our way anymore. We are pretty much ready to taxi. We're going to depart runway 28. Out of here, it's 2810. We landed 10 whenever we came in. We'll use 28 on the way out. It's a little bit more on our way. So we'll get our taxi light on so they know we're about to move. We got 14,500 set in the altitude. We'll be going quite a ways up. It looks like the mountains we're going to be working over are as high as in the area 13,900 feet is what I saw on the chart. And that is a little bit further to the west than I anticipate us flying, but 14.5 should be nice and safe. And then we'll probably have to do some descending 360s on the way down into Tabubil, but it should be a nice, pretty flight one way or the other. Early morning here, getting a nice early start to it. We'll just pull up here and hold short, go through setting up everything else. Go ahead and zoom the map out. Get a nice, keep it on 50 nautical miles there. Whenever we come up to the hold short mark here, we'll just hold the brakes, get everything else set up for us for our departure. Coming up on the hold short markers, make sure you stop nice and early before these so you can still see the markers. Technically, if you roll over them, you're on the runway, and talking to ATC or something, they tend to frown upon that. Looks like we're clear off to the left and right. We're going to back taxi and turn around. 28 for a full length departure. We got our landing lights on. We'll go ahead and do transponder, put it on altitude mode. And we'll put the conditioner lever into full position there. Takeoff flaps are coming out. Make sure we got a decent trim setting. Should be good to go. Everything else looks like it is set up. So once again, just double checking it is clear. Take the runway. Take the runway. Jeez. Excuse me. Take the runway and we will back taxi for our departure out of here. We should have plenty of available runway. We are going to go ahead and once again practice one of the taking off at a lower airspeed and climbing out in that fashion. So we're going to shoot for 70 knots for rotation, and then we'll be looking to climb out right around 100 knots, and we'll switch on over to the flight level change mode. After we'll get on the autopilot and let it climb us out at 600 feet per minute, and then from there go over to the flight level change mode for a 100 knots in the climb up. Coming to the end here, runway 28, and it looks like we've got a little bit of ramp over here for us to kind of help us give us some more space for the turnaround. So let's go ahead and do that. Really looking forward to this flight, actually working inland into Papua New Guinea. And we are about ready to get underway. So we are holding short here on 28. Everything looks like it is set up, so we're going to come off the brakes. Start adding the power. Power is set, airspeed's alive. Let's look for 70 knots. There's 60. And there's 70. No problem, we are up and away. So let's do 10 degrees nose up to about 200 feet. And we'll pitch the nose down, accelerate through 80. Accelerating positive rate. Flaps are going to come up, and now we'll pitch once again for 10. Just keep that climb going. Keep our airspeed climbing. And here we will go ahead and come onto the autopilot. And we'll go ahead and activate a flight level change mode. Since we're right around 100 knots. We're going to pull the power back just a little bit, keep the ITT in check. And we can see we got a little bit of terrain here off our left. And it's, to go on course, we're going to be pretty aggressive over to the left, heading down towards the southwest. So we'll just wait a moment. We can go ahead and bring the heading mode on over. Put it on about 230. But I do not want to let the autopilot try and bring us even further left to capture that course. So we're going up quite a bit in altitude today. I said all the way up to 14,500. And it is showing just about 175 nautical miles for us. So if we get up to a solid cruise speed, it'll be about an hour en route, maybe a little bit longer. And then just because of the way the airfield is, it should be right as we kind of come over the top of some mountains. It should rapidly drop down. and we'll probably have to descend down into the field because we'll have to stay nice and high to clear the mountains. Alright, it looks like we're clear of the terrain off to the left, so we'll go ahead and go on to a nav mode now. It'll swing us to the left a little bit more just to capture that course. We're already through 3,000. And it looks like it is going to be some smooth sailing. At least comparatively to the last flight as far as the weather goes for our departure out of here. So we'll just stay in the climb. We're kind of clearing the area. Go ahead and get the landing lights off. So we're through 3,500, a 1,200 foot per minute climb. So we got just about 10 minutes left to go. If we keep that up until we're at cruise, we'll just settle back and check in at cruise here. Alright, we are just about to cross through 12,000 feet. 2,500 feet left to go in the climb. We should be good to cruise at 14,500 on the way there. If you take a look here at the map, you can kind of get an idea of what we're talking about. So we climbed over these mountains on our first flight in the last video. They had some peaks up above the 4,000 mark, and this is what we're going into. The darker the color, basically, the higher the mountains. So you can see some of these areas are pretty high, with others probably in the mid, just under 10,000, kind of 5,000, 6,000 ish area. On the chart, it shows 13.5 basically directly between these 2 points would be safe, which generally gives you a at least 1,000-foot buffer. So we should be perfectly fine at 14,500 on the way there. But the problem is that if you could see just the tip of the airfield there, go the right way, it's just on the other side of this ridge. So we're going to have to spend all that time climbing up. At least we'll get a decent cruise out of it, hopefully anyways, as long as the wind's completely calm at the moment, so we should be fine. But we will we'll spend all that time up there and then go over the top of those mountains, and then basically have to drop all that altitude down to make it into to the airfield. So should be just fine, but that's kind of what we're contending with. So we'll go ahead and bring that in a little bit. We have just about 500 feet to go at the moment. You can see kind of some scattered clouds up around this region. Looks like it's a little bit worse off to our left, and just kind of different lower clouds off to our right. But we should be just fine here at this altitude. So we're just now leveling out. We're already doing about 135 knots across the ground. And at that speed, we're showing just under 70 minutes at this time until we're at the airfield. So that should drop down below an hour for sure en route here, but we are going to have a bit of time to kill in cruise. That is for sure. Just taking a look around outside the airplane. It's pretty flat around this area. We got a big lake up in front of us off to the left. You can see it on the map as well. Nice big river we're going to be crossing over. We want to keep our power setting in so we can get up to a decent cruise speed before we start to pull it out. We're already doing about 175 knots across the ground now. Got the time down to 52 minutes at the moment. Let's see if we can get another 10 or so knots out of it. We're already on a okay power setting as well. We'll pull it back a little bit more to be more fuel efficient. We're under 50 minutes now, estimated time en route. And that's what we like to see. So we'll keep getting this time down. We'll probably spend some time here at cruise, just take in the sights, and then once we get up to these mountains, we'll probably start paying a little bit more attention, make sure we are in fact going to be clear, and getting an idea of what the weather's like as we get closer, if we got to do anything to try and make our way in, or if it's going to be smooth sailing from there as well. But only time will tell. So in the cruise now, estimating 48 minutes to the field. We'll just sit back and relax. Just checking in briefly as we are about halfway through our flight. We're just about to start over the real mountainous portion. You can kind of see we lucked out a little bit. Off to our left, there's a whole lot of cloud cover. And up in front of us, there does seem to be decent cloud cover, but doesn't look anything as bad as it looks off to our left. We're showing about 26 minutes. Estimated for our en route time. It's going to be a little bit longer because of what we're going to have to do to descend into the field, as I stated before. It'll be runway 14 and tree 2 at Tabubil, and we'll just kind of since we've got to kind of circle in over the field, we'll plan it out once we get there. But yeah, this is a little bit more like Papua New Guinea I was expecting, as we work towards the center portion of it here with all the glorious mountains for us to fly around through and into some of the most challenging airstrips I think that you can find. So should be good fun. We'll check in whenever we're about ready to start our descent in. Alright, we are just under 15 minutes now from the field, showing about 45 nautical miles. We're still not going to think about our descent at all just yet. You can see how heavy the cloud cover is off to our left, all the way down into the valleys, right around the tops of the mountains. And then we've got what looks like a pretty decent sized thunderstorm off to our right as well, and I think we might just luck out. Hopefully I didn't jinx us, but directly in front of us still looks pretty darn clear for us to work into Tabubil. We're just now starting over the mountain range. You kind of see how it just gradually stepped up from those little mountains up to the bigger stuff, and just kind of keeps stepping up as we work towards the center of it, and then it'll kind of step back down as we get up over it. This should be pretty interesting. Tabubil is a pretty decent sized airport for the area, so fortunately on that one we're dealing with the weather, the terrain, but the airport should be just fine for us here in the caravan. Kind of easing our way into this area. Don't want to get too crazy just right off the bat, but we still got a little bit of time. Like I said, we're gonna start our descent basically directly over the field. We got to get over this ridgeline here at least before we can even consider going lower. So we'll be at this altitude for a little while longer, and then we will start our way down into Tabubil. Alright everybody, we're about ready to start our descent into Tabubil. The field elevation at Tabubil is actually right around 1,600 feet. So what we're going to do first is we're going to just put into the altitude selector, and I'm going to put 2,600 feet in, so that's just 1,000 above. We'll take a look around outside here in just a moment. Kind of see we lucked out with the weather. This is what's directly off to our right. It looks pretty serious, and we don't want to be going through that. Off to the left, it is a little bit clearer now, and we can definitely see all of the terrain directly in front of us. So we're going to start down. We've got 2,600 feet set in. I'm going to go ahead and pull the power back, and we're going to start down at a pretty ginger 600 feet per minute. We just crossed under 7 minutes on our estimated time en route. We're still probably going to have to do a little bit of circling while we descend down, but this will get us a little bit ahead of the curve. If we can increase this just a little bit more, get down to at least about 1,000 feet per minute. And cross in over the top of these mountaintops here, and we should be just fine with that. We have good visibility, we can see them. I'll do an altimeter update, 2987. Is pretty stormy off to our right. So yeah, the field elevation, like I said, it's like 1,560 something feet. We should have over 4,000 feet of runway for us. Nice, decent airport considering where we are. But you can see here on the map, so we cross over the top of these mountains directly in front of us, and then it just slopes all the way down, and this airfield's sitting basically kind of surrounded on all sides except for one by these mountains, and it's just sitting at a little over 1,500 feet above sea level. These are some gorgeous mountains in this area. But yeah, you know, with the storms and everything like this, it could be very challenging for sure to get into some of these fields, if not impossible at times. So it'll be interesting to explore this area more. I'm definitely looking forward to it. It's going to get a little bit choppy as we work over these ridge lines here. Start to make our way in. And I mean, we're just about 12.5 miles now from the field. You can see 12.5 right there exactly. And I mean, realistically, we couldn't be lower than like about 11,000 feet at the moment, just from the way we're going to have to plan this in. So we're showing 4 minutes. It's starting to slope off even more, so let's pull the power back. Double check, make sure our prop's all the way forward, and let's increase our rate of descent. We'll go down to 1,500 feet per minute. Really just glide down over these things. We do have, it's runway 1432 at Tabubil. Runway 14 would be coming from the mountains. Looks like really it's kind of running almost perpendicular to our path at the moment. So we'll see if it favors one over the other. At the moment, just with the wind kind of coming out of the southwest, we're just going to go ahead and plug in 140 on the heading. The wind doesn't seem too crazy up here. I would imagine it's not going to be much on the ground either, but we will just go ahead and get that planned. So heading bug, yeah, exactly. And overfly it perpendicular to the field. 7.5 miles now. Let's go ahead and get our landing lights on. See all of those mountains over there just completely in the storm. And yeah, I definitely say we lucked out, and you can see how much it just completely drops off here as we start to come over. So let's really pull the power out now, and let's get this thing moving on down. 2,000 feet a minute. 2 minutes from the field at our current speed. So we'll drop about 4,000 feet. That'll get us down to 4,000 feet, basically 4,500 feet. So we'll maybe just have to do a 360. And we might be able to lose all of the altitude in a bit of a circuit around for the airfield. Double check altimeter one more time. We'll stick with that setting, 2987. It's really taking in the sights. It is absolutely beautiful around here. I really like the little rivers. And it seems like that's basically what your option would be if you wanted to get around. Yeah, we can see the field now. Look at this. I mean, just completely surrounded by mountains. You got the river coming through and then going on up. Alright, so we have Taboobill in sight. I think what we're going to do is we're going to take the autopilot off. I'm going to go ahead and sit back up in our seat real quick. Just get ourselves lined up. We're going to take the autopilot off. We're going to overfly the field and do a left-hand 360. I think actually what it's going to look like is we're safer on our approach end if we came in for tree 2, because we'll be able to fly over the river on the way in as opposed to kind of being up against these mountains. Make it a little tricky if we have to go around, but we can always work our way up to the left here along the river and kind of find our way out. So let's go ahead and start planning for this. That river looks really cool down there. So we got our speed down. What we're going to do is we're just going to put this thing in about a 30-degree bank. And we will just double check that this is what we want to do. Yeah, there's the end of the runway there. The trees look good on this side as well. All the way up to the ramp. Okay, so yeah, we're going to bring it back to the right. A bit of an S-turn here instead of a 360. What we're going to do is we're going to fly along this ridge and then circle in onto final for runway tree 2 at Taboobill. We'll go ahead and get our approach flaps out, give ourselves a little bit more drag. That way we can descend and not worry too much about our airspeed. We're within the speed limits. We could go ahead and drop full flaps now if we wanted to. Like to get down to 2600 before we start our right turn here. Just keep flying it, keep it nice and tight to this ridge. Alright, 2.5 miles from the field. I'll plop it onto a 30-degree bank. We're going to keep the power all the way out. We want this turn to be nice and tight. We can see the field directly in front of us. Now, as we're about to roll out, that is really pretty. Alright, let's go ahead and start getting configured. So full flaps. And shoot for 70 knots on the approach. There's 70 knots. Just add the power in to keep our glide slope and pitch for that airspeed. All right, we are on final runway tree 2 into Taboobill. A little bit more power. Pitch the nose down just a touch. There we go. Back off the power just a little bit now. But plenty of runway to work with here. Just a little bit fast. Go for the flare. It's like the worst time for it to stutter. Alright, we are down. Go ahead and get on the brakes, see if we can make this turn off. Should be no problem. Look at that backdrop. This is very, very scenic here. Yeah, we'll go ahead and pull in right here. Just clear the runway and swing the airplane, kind of point back out. This direction. Very, very scenic around here. Let's go ahead and get cleaned up, get our landing lights off, strobe light off. Go ahead and get all of this off there. Let's pull up the FSEconomy client. Been underway for a decent amount of time now, and what we're going to do is set the parking brake. That logs the flight. Aircraft is now on the ground and available at Taboobill. Oh man, this is a very interesting area. It'll be exciting to kind of see what happens next, where we wind up going off to, and some of the challenges that this area is going to bring. I hope you all did enjoy. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I really do appreciate all the support. Giving the video a like, consider subscribing if you want to see more content like this, and a like does help me out, believe it or not. I do appreciate it either way. Just hanging out, enjoying the flight with me, that's what it's all about. So I hope you guys did enjoy. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, bye-bye.